I'm on a mission to get more people to watch this show because I really love it. And so if you want to learn more about this show and why you should watch it, including character breakdowns and episode breakdowns, just click this playlist right here and you can learn all about it. Okay, so the first person you need to know is Jason Momoa's character, and his name is Baba Voss. And so Baba Voss is the leader of a tribe called the Alkeni. And the Alkeni are basically not really affiliated with like the main monarchy. They're a separate tribe and they live in high elevation. Okay, so the next thing you need to know is that the world of C takes place like many hundreds of years in the future after a pandemic has ravaged all of the human population, leaving the only surviving people blind. Much of the world we see is like futuristic dystopian Pittsburgh. So basically, in this new dystopian world, the entire North American continent has reverted back to a monarchy system, which is ruled by the Kane family, specifically Sibeth Kane, who is the queen, and she is just like unhinged. I'm going to reveal spoilers in this one, so if you don't want to know spoilers, scroll ahead. Okay, so the next person you need to know is Magra Kane, who is basically the long-lost sister of Queen Kane, who runs the kingdom. And so we did not know that Magra was related to the queen at all for like all of season 1. It was a huge bombshell. She has been living amongst the Alkeni and is partnered to Baba Voss, even though her children are of Durla Morel, who's one of the only known people in the world who can see. Remember, in this world, everybody's blind. Okay, so the next person you need to know is named Durla Morel, and he is one of the only people in the entire universe of this show who can see. He's gifted with sight, and so he leaves behind this box of books in order to teach his children with Magra, once they come of age, to read. But remember, in this world, that's considered heresy, because everyone's blind and has been blind for like 600 years, so anyone who can see is considered a witch. So we hardly see Durla Morel at all during season 1. All we really know is that him and Magra basically got together and she got pregnant with 2 of his children, but she's with Baba Voss, who is the leader of the Alkeni tribe. And so it's kind of like this drama thing, but they're basically raising Durla Morel's children together, and it is rumored that the children might have the gift of sight. And so basically we're just like waiting for like episodes like, can they see or not? So the next person you need to know is Paris. So Paris is played by Alfre Woodard, and she's a really high up member of the Alkeni tribe, and essentially she's kind of like a town elder. She gives counsel to Baba Voss, she gives counsel to Vagra, she acts as, I meant to say Magra. She acts as a kind of surrogate mother to Haniwa and Kofun, and she's basically like another member of the family. So basically much of season 1 hinges on one particular central idea, that the 2 kids, Kofun and Haniwa, could potentially be sighted, as they are the children of Durla Morel, who is sighted. And so basically, he gives Baba Voss, who's played by Jason Momoa, this box of books in the pilots, and is like, when my children turn 12, when the 12th summer is past, I need you to lead them to this box of books so they can teach themselves to read and learn all about the old world, all about the civilization that fell, the age of vision, the people that lived where we're living right now before, you know, the collapse of society in that show. And there's actually something even bigger going on, but until Magra comes clean, we have no idea. Okay, we also have to spend a little bit more time talking about Haniwa, because between her and her brother, she's the more interesting. I'm sorry, Kofun. One of the things I really love about her character, besides her being the one with wanderlust who wants to go out and explore the world, is that she is unapologetically queer, and like no one in the show cares. None of the show makes her come out. She doesn't have some like painful coming out narrative. She just like gets to be a queer person, and that is like not, and no one cares. I should say, though, I'm only on the end of season 2, so maybe there's like something I don't know about in season 3. But I just think this show is so progressive and liberating, because like all of the scenes that have to deal with her queerness, when she's like interacting with this female character who she's like has this love affair with, it's never like about their queerness being bad. The only thing that they're worried about is that people will persecute them for having vision, which I guess they're like drawing the parallel between vision and queerness as like, you know, they're outsiders. Such a like fresh, unique way to like look at queer characters. Something really interesting about this new world too is that not only have they returned to a monarchy, but they've returned to this kind of like divine Christianity-esque adjacent thing. Like they pray to something called the God Flame, which is like a stand-in for the sun, but it represents sort of like more than just all civilization. Like the God Flame seems to also encompass like machinery and all sorts of things that provide for them. And these prayers are led by Queen Kane, who I can't say it on TikTok, but like she has a very weird, I shouldn't say weird, interesting, eclectic way of praying. Let's just say that. It involves just parts of her body Okay, so the next character that you must know is the Witchfinder General named Tamakti Jun. And basically, in the world of C, Queen Sibith, who rules Kanswa, and basically the whole kind of empire that is basically Pittsburgh 600 years from now in this like post-pandemic dystopian hellscape. Because it's like a hyper-religious monarchy, they've basically declared war on witches, and for them, witches means anyone who can see or anyone who does like anything heretical towards like the faith or the crown. And so Tamakti Jun is like the Witchfinder General who's like going around trying to find the witches. He really has this whole emotional journey and this amazing arc as a character. And for a character that could have been really one-dimensional, I feel like they actually gave him a lot of depth. So in the world of C, there's almost like an unofficial caste system, and the Payan people are at the top. They're the ruling elite who live in the capital city of Kanswa and who are ruled by the Kane family, who is the monarchy. Now, Jason Momoa's character, Baba Voss, is a part of the Alkeni tribe, which isn't like officially recognized by the Payan people. Like when they have marriages, those aren't considered like under Payan rule as legitimate. And the other tribes all have to pay taxes and basically follow the laws that the Payan people set, which are ruled by the Kane family and her, Queen Sibith's advisors and council and all of her lords, etc. One of the most interesting technical aspects of the world of C is that because everyone in the world, due to the pandemic, is blind, everyone communicates via touch and via ropes. And so basically they tie intricate knots into the ropes, and it's implied that by touching these knots, it's sort of like a braille or a sort of communication style. And so basically when people have letters to send, when they have stories to write, they basically tie these intricate beadwork and then they give those ropes to others, and then people can feel the knots and like hear the message. It's kind of beautiful. Like they don't really explore the technicality of it too much, but there's moments where people will be like hanging on the ropes when they're in contemplation. You can feel them just like holding the weight of story. It's so cool. Okay, also, one of the most interesting aspects of season 1 is this concept of the shadow people. And these are people that are so quiet, and in a world where everyone's blind and relies primarily on their sense of touch and their sense of hearing, which is really heightened, the ability to be completely silent becomes like an unbelievable asset. And so they act as spies, they know everything because they're able to move in and out of a room without you even knowing that they're there and not even being able to sense their presence. Like the actors too, who are doing this on the show, their like intricate movement is so impressive. I was like, my joints would be cracking, like they would hear me in a second. So after Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, I decided to binge watch C. And I ended up loving it so much. Like, the show is so good, and I'm really sad because I just got to the last episode, and I haven't watched the series finale yet, but it ends on season 3, and I just know I'm gonna be sad when it's over. You know that feeling when it's like, you just absolutely tore through a show, you love it, and then you finish it, and you just feel like empty. I don't want it to end. Why didn't they make season 4, bro? Something so cool about this show is that they have queer characters, but it's not like a central component to their identity in the sense that their plotline doesn't revolve around their queerness, which I think is kind of like the frontier of like liberation where queer people just get to exist. Something that I don't understand about C on Apple TV is like, Queen Magra, why did she keep her identity secret for so long? I mean, I know her kids like kind of put her on blast about this, but she literally could have stopped so much like war. Like, she could have stopped war.